custom tables. It's imperative that if you're not familiar with how tables work inside of standard AutoCAD, not AutoCAD Electrical, but standard AutoCAD, you're going to want to familiarize yourself with how they work, because they're very important with inserting reports onto a drawing, which I'm going to get to as well here. But just as an example, let's say I'm going to run a table of contents report, or as they call it, a drawing list report. And if I want to put it onto a drawing, the most important aspect, or one of the most, I should say, is probably your table style, because it determines how much real estate the table takes up in the drawing. Out of the box, you're going to get several of these: the ACE inch, the ACE metric, the other ACE, those are for terminals, inch and metric. Standard. Now you're going to see some in here that when you go to do this the next time, you're not going to have this from to table, this panel table, this PLC IO table. These are all custom tables that I've created. Now, before I get to that, I'm going to insert this with this default table out of the box. And the reason why table styles are so important is because with this particular table style that I chose, the text height is set to 0.1 when I insert it. I'm going to go back to the same report. Whoop. And this time I'll choose another one out of the box called standard. And you can tell already that it's bigger. And again, the standard table style has a built-in text height, as you can see, of 0.18. And the reason why this is so important is when you start inserting tables, which I'm going to do in a minute here, when you start inserting tables that take up a lot of real estate, meaning you have to break the table up in sections, in rows. Obviously, it's going to have a big difference when the text height is different. It affects the whole table itself. Now, where do you create your custom tables? You create them. There is a drawing. When you install the software, this is where it is out of the box. The name, you go to users, the name of your computer, app data, roaming, Autodesk, AutoCAD Electrical, all the way through to support. And there's a drawing file called table style. You open that up just like if it was a regular AutoCAD drawing. And this is all it is. But if I go to my table style command, and like I said, I don't have time in this webinar, obviously, to go over all the details on how to create your table styles. But if I go to modify right here, the key to this is the text height. Like I said, you can fancy it up with other things. Like if I go to my from to. The text height is 1/8 inch. You could also choose a different text style, angles, colors. You can include separate borders. But you can also have, at least with this particular table that I created, I've got a fill color built in, if you will, as you can see here. So, like I said, if you aren't familiar with how table styles work in general inside of standard AutoCAD, you're going to want to familiarize yourself with them a little bit. And like I said, you do what I just did here. You literally open up this table style drawing and add your styles from there. So now if I go back, and insert that report this time, whoop, keep wanting to go back there. And just as one more example, I'll go to one of my custom ones. And this is my standard text height, which is 1/8 inch, and I just happen to put a fill color in, for each category. So that's how you can create your own custom tables. Go to that, drawing that I talked about, the tablestyle.dwg, in the support path here. Open it up just like you would a regular AutoCAD drawing. Pump out as many tables as you want.